Warning, this fucking video is not for kids.
What the fuck is up, everyone? Prison Meddler here, back with another ranking. And today is going to be different. This is not music related, and this is not franchise related. For the first time, I am ranking a director's filmography ranking. And the first director I'm ranking is Quentin Tarantino. He is easily one of my favorite filmmakers of all time. And I just love almost every movie by him, and I'm definitely ranking him from worst to best. Now, I'm let me say this. I'm only ranking the movies he directed. Now, I'm not counting his collab movies like he did, such as Four Rooms and Sin City. I'm not including movies that he only written, such as Natural Born Killers. Just the movies that he directed solo himself. That's all. Just to let y'all know. And I'm also not including his 80 movies, My Best Friend's Birthday or whatever that's called, because one, that looks more like a school project. Plus, I haven't seen it, and I'm just not really interested in it. So, yeah, that's all. So, let's begin with the ranking. And oh yes, almost forgot, there will be spoilers, just to let y'all know. So, if you haven't seen any of these movies, you may want to click off because there will be spoilers. And just let y'all know, I like all of his movies, so this is not an easy rank here. So, I wouldn't argue on how y'all rank it. So, at the bottom of the list for me, at number 10, I got is Death Proof from 2007. This is not a bad movie at all, but this is the Quentin Tarantino movie I had the most issues with. Now, the main issue I have with this movie is mainly the second half of the movie. I just feel like this second half really drug me off for some reason. It just feels like a complete different plot, despite Kurt Russell within that movie. And I just feel like it wasn't necessary. I just don't see what's, for some reason, the beginning of the first half of the movie just takes place at a bar with college kids and all of that, and then they finally meet Kurt Russell with his death-proof car, and then he ran over and killed all of them, and then a year later there's a group of women, and who are pretty much my age at the time, which, whatever they're doing, I don't know, whatever the plans are, I don't care. It's just, I just don't like the women in the second half of the movie. They're just total bitches. But anyway, yeah, and it doesn't really focus much on Kurt Russell's character. I forgot what his name, since Kurt Russell's the main character in the second half, he only appeared like 2 scenes, that's it. And yeah, Quentin Tarantino's thing for feet. Besides all that, but there's still some redeeming qualities. It has great acting from Kurt Russell and other characters such as Eli Roth. Now, when it comes to Eli Roth, I only like him in acting. I'm not a fan of him as a director. Now, I do like Hostel, but I'm not a fan of his other movies like Cabin Fever and The Green Inferno, and that movie with Keanu Reeves sucked ass. Knock Knock or whatever that's called. Fuck that movie. But anyway, yeah. And some other cameos as well, such as Tarantino himself. But, besides all that, it's a solid movie, but, I mean, Tarantino fans would probably enjoy this movie. I kind of did, but I did have some complaints about it, but this is not the movie I would start off with. So, Death Proof comes in at number 10. Alright, up next at number 5. No, I'm sorry, not 5. Sorry, I'm a little off. 9 I got is maybe a little controversial. It's going to be his latest movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Came out in 2019. Now, I saw this at the movies, and I was pretty disappointed because it wasn't what I thought it was gonna be. Now, whenever I rewatched it recently, it kind of grew into me a bit. I'll admit, I thought this was Tarantino's worst movie at the time in my ranking, but as I rewatched it, it kind of did grow up to me. I kind of want to rank this higher, but that's just the highest thing I can get. The reason why is because it has a lot of filler scenes. Now, I know Tarantino's style of movies, how he loves its dialogues and how the plot goes, and he wants to wait on the third act and such, which this is what I liked about Tarantino. But the thing is, there is some unnecessary scenes, such as, who's that actress name? Margaret Robbie, whatever it is, went to watch her own movie, and we get to see her feet. Yeah, classic Tarantino style. Yeah, that I feel like that scene wasn't necessary to be in that movie. And the full scene, and the scene was just with the Bruce Lee stunt scene, it's just way too long. But there's still a lot of enjoyable this movie. It has some great acting from Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt and others. So, and I do like the final bits of this movie with where the Manson family comes after his house and starts attacking him, and the dog just bites each other in the balls. Yeah, that's a satisfying scene, and I wish that scene would last longer. That's my only criticism about that. It should have lasted longer. But, yeah, not a bad movie at all. It's far from bad, but I feel like this movie could be a lot better. That's all. So, yeah, it's far from bad, but I think there's better movies than this. So, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood comes in at number 9. Alright, next up at number 8 is kind of controversial. It's going to be Kill Bill Volume 2. From 2004. Now, I know this movie was supposed to be an all-for-one movie. I know Tarantino himself considered that Kill Bill was a single movie, but the reason why they divided this in two is because the studio did not want a long-ass movie, and Quentin doesn't want scenes cut out, so he decided to divide these movies in two. So, which I rather have that, to be honest with you, with it divided in two, because not many movies are like that. Now, my main complaint about Volume 2, I just feel like there's a lot of unnecessary moments, such as flashbacks. I feel like the beginning of that movie, the scene at the church, should have been at the first movie. That should have been at least at the beginning of the first movie for some reason. And but it does make sense. And there's one scene that drags on too long. It's the training scene with the unknown name, starring Uma Thurman with the Kung Fu master training. That scene, I think it was during their buried alive scene, and then we got to that long ass flashback that lasted for like 10 minutes. I feel like that scene, but at the same time, it kind of makes sense, which does explain how she escaped from being buried alive. So I feel like that scene could have been used in the first movie. But besides all that, it's still a really enjoyable movie, and I do like it. And I do enjoy the scenes between her and Bill in the last scene. And I love the scene where she finally meets her daughter after her 4-year coma. So, yeah, I do enjoy her scene, and I thought the movie really ended well. Despite of her scene with killing Bill, it seems kind of cartoony. I thought it would be a much better way was she kills him brutally, but it ended way, and it's still an enjoyable movie. It's not, I wouldn't call it like a disappointment, I wouldn't say it ruined it, because it didn't. I just feel like it could be a lot more. But we all know Quentin Tarantino. His amazing original dialogues and all that really did set the movie up. It really did. So, yeah. Kill Bill Volume 2 comes in at number 8. Now, starting at number 7 is where I don't have any complaints as far as I know of. Now, at number 7 would be The Hateful Eight, came out in 2015.
See your ugly face.
I know I see some rankings. Many people thinks this is Tarantino's weakest movie, and I have to say I couldn't disagree more. I thought this was a great movie. I would have ranked this higher, but this has to be where it's got to be because, one, it has a great, unique story. To me, this is pretty much like a mix between Django Unchained and Reservoir Dogs. That's how I would describe about this movie. It's kind of like that mixed together by who poisoned the coffee, who is the suspect, who is involved with behind all this, who is working for I forgot who's that chick's name, but you know what I mean. But it's got Samuel L. Jackson. It's got some returning characters from Tarantino's previous movies, such as Michael Madsen, who is from Reservoir Dogs, and of course we got the most famous guy, Samuel L. Jackson, and Kurt Russell, and some other recognizable characters. So yeah, really great movie. I definitely do enjoy it. It's a gore fest. I know many people may complain about the first half that it drug on and on and on and on, but you really have to pay attention to this. This is one of those movies you really have to pay attention to because it can get you in it. So if you just only expect it to be like just blood and gore throughout, then you're probably not going to have a good time with this movie. You might just fall asleep to it. But like I said, Tarantino movies are not just blood and gore. It's really not. It's not just that. It's more than just that. It's full of dialogue, I'm sorry, I'm so off today. Memorable dialogue, that's what I meant to say. And many others. Amazing acting, especially from Samuel L. Jackson. And I could go on and on and on. And the ending. The scene where he gets shot in the fucking balls.
Son of a bitch to hell. You killed OB? He is worth 10 of you. Ward, can I kill him?
Say adios to your huevos.
And him and it's the sheriff, I forgot his name, finally started becoming friends, and yeah, it's a fun time of a movie. Many Tarantino fans will be pleased with it. So yeah, I disagree with this being the worst one in Tarantino filmography. So yeah, Hateful Eight will have to be at number 7. Alright, number 6 I got is Jackie Brown. Came out in 1997.
Hey man,
You gonna tell me reasons?
you better.
Let me tell you the reason, motherfucker. The reason is your ass ain't worth a shit
Well,
no more.
You better fucking back off, man.
What the fuck happened to you, man? Your ass used to be beautiful.
Now, I'm not sure if this was hated on back in the day. I kind of see why, but I really enjoyed this one a whole lot. Yes, it may be a weak movie compared to Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, but because it lacked a lot of blood and gore, it has a lack of brutality. But I think this movie has the most character development than any Tarantino movie to date. Pam Grier, who plays as Jackie Brown, absolutely astounding. It's also got some memorable actors too, like of course Samuel L. Jackson. Robert De Niro was in this movie. I forgot who he played as, and Robert Fraser, R.I.P. And then we got a cameo from Chris Tucker as well, and then you got Sid Haig, Captain Spaulding as well. So yeah, it just has a great plot to it. So I definitely enjoy the scenes. No, it doesn't have. It's not as violent as other Tarantino movies, but it's definitely a great movie. Like I explained before in my, like I said this before, Tarantino blood and gore is usually not a main priority when it comes to his movies. It's really not. If you want like blood and gore, watch like I don't know, like Saw or Hostel or something, or Terrifier. And plus, they're not horror movies, so yeah, think again. So, but it's still a fun movie. It's very enjoyable. I do like it. Yes, it was his weakest movie at the time, but I think this is a great movie. So I wouldn't start I wouldn't start off with this movie, but it's really enjoyable. Maybe the third or fourth Tarantino movie you want to see, but you'll enjoy it. It has a great story to it. I love the ending. It has a kick-ass feel to it. So Jackie Brown comes in at number 6. Number 6. Alright, number 5. Little controversial, not a lot. And it's going to have to be Inglourious Basterds. Came out in 2009. I enjoy this movie a lot. I love this movie. I know many people put this in their top 3, and hey, I would not argue with that. Trust me, I would not. This, like I said before, this is not an easy ranking for me to do. Now, I definitely enjoy this movie. I thought Brad Pitt was astounding. I thought Chris Roth was great in that movie. Oh man, and Eli Roth was also in that movie, and he did great. There's also great cameos, too, like Austin Powers, Mike Myers. Not Halloween Michael Myers. Yeah, Mike Myers, the one who did Austin Powers, voice of Shrek, Wayne's World, all that. Great cameo from him. And it has some great brutality death scenes in this movie, like scalping, get batted in the head to death. And I absolutely love the massacre scene at the movie theater, where he just shoots all the Nazis and blew the cinema up. And it has some great dialogues. This movie is almost like a complete foreign movie, like kind of most of it feels like it. I'm not sure if it's half of it, but feels like most of it, mainly during the middle part of the movie. But I don't mind foreign movies at all. There's no shame in that. And I absolutely find the ending very satisfying, where he just cuts that man in the head with a knife. Just a very satisfying scene. So, yeah, Inglourious Basterds will have to be at number 5 for me. Alright, number 4 is his debut movie, Reservoir Dogs. Came out in 1992.
Please, look, I got a little kid home now, please.
Y'all done?
Don't!
Fire scare.
Don't! What?
And yes, this is a low-budget movie, and this movie does hold up till this very day. I fucking love that movie, Reservoir Dogs. This is a great way to start with your directing debut from Tarantino himself. Usually low-budget movies kind of don't hold off well to this day, but this one really did. I just love the brutality in this movie. This movie is just fucking crazy. It's got some epic moments. It has some great acting. Michael Madsen, Harvey Keitel, a lot of great actors in this movie. I just love how it turns out, and the brutal ass ear slicing torture scene. Yeah, and I just love how the twist of it. I know their last names were colors, like Mr. Pink, Mr. Blonde, whatever his name, the guy who was bleeding out to death. I just love that unexpected, unpredictable scene where he was about to burn that cop on fire, and then he gets shot by the guy who was bleeding to death. Holy shit, that scene is just fucking epic. I mean, yeah, it's a shorter movie compared to his other works, but this movie holds up, and I find the ending so much satisfying to watch that this feels a lot shorter. It's just a magnificent movie where they all shot each other, and the police started coming in this port. The guy who was bleeding dead, who later turns out to be a cop. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't know really a lot about the characters' names. It's been a while since I've seen these movies. Plus, the last name as Colors, name of Colors, just gets confusing at times. So, I know, you're not a diehard fan. I love his work. I never said I didn't say I'm his number 1 fan. I just get that through your head. But besides all that, Yeah, I fucking love Reservoir Dogs. It's an amazing movie. Michael Madsen was great. Harvey Keitel was also great. Many others. So yeah, it's definitely great for a low budget movie. So Reservoir Dogs comes in at number 4. Alright. Number 3 I got is Kill Bill Volume 1. Came out in 2003. I fucking love this movie. I feel like this movie is just an action classic. Yes, this movie is way different. This is his 4th movie, and it's a lot different than his first 3 movies. This one is more of an action movie than his drama thriller type movie. I just love, despite of the minor criticism I have of the second movie, this movie fast-paced really well. It has a great, unique plot, and I absolutely love the massacre scene at the dance floor. It's just a gore fest of a movie, and I like the anime sequence here. So what it was, the unnamed... I absolutely love the beginning of the movie where this woman fights a woman, and then they stop fighting. I find it has a funny scene where they just stop fighting, act like they're on good terms when this girl came home from school, and then they're like all calm and dandy, and then she used like this lady's she's about to make her cereal, and the gun is right inside of a cereal box. Cheerio box.
Very funny, bitch. Very funny!
You share with, and I just find that scene very amazing. It's a martial arts classic for sure, and yeah, I thought Lucy Liu was amazing too. Everything. I feel like this should have continued where it left off, like it did in Volume 2. Volume 2 is more like Volume 2 has less action than this one is. This one has a lot more action than the second one did, despite it was supposed to be a one movie blended together since those movies are released separately. So yeah, Kill Bill Volume 3, amazing movie, one of my favorites. So Kill Bill Volume 1 will have to be at number 3 for me. Alright, number 2 I got is Django Unchained. It came out in 2012.
Cora, before you go, will you tell Miss Laura goodbye?
Do what now?
I said tell Miss Laura goodbye.
Bye, Miss Laura.
I fucking love this movie, Django Unchained. Now, as for me, I'm not a Western type guy, but this movie, holy shit, this was amazing. Originally, Django, who was a black guy played by Jamie Foxx, who was a slave and was now later confirmed to be a free man. He's here to find his wife, and they found her apparently I think in Tennessee or I think it's in Mississippi, and there's a villain in this movie, which is Calvin, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, which I thought he was amazing in that movie. Samuel L. Jackson has made a return in this movie, even though he made some few cameos in his previous movie, but his return as one of the main characters since Jackie Brown, and holy shit, I thought Samuel L. Jackson was great. Christopher Waltz also made a return from Inglourious Basterds as well, and I absolutely love the scene where the doctor just pulls out a pistol and shoots at Leonardo DiCaprio in the chest, and then that's where all the massacre just started, like, bam!
You really want me to shake your hand? I insist. If you insist.
Like that. Excuse me, I need some water. And then this scene just happened right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the fucking carnage, that's all. And then he get kidnapped, and then turns out he was setting those guards up, and he freed the slaves, and went in to go for his wife and rescue her, and got his revenge. And the ending is just so satisfying to watch. Everything in this movie is just almost perfect.
That's good to know. He's the guy who's the talk of the town with the restless gun. Don't you bother to fool him around. Keeps the vomits on the run, boy.
So yeah, Django Unchained is definitely in my top 3. So, and it definitely ends up at number 2 for me. So, Django Unchained comes in at number 2. Alright guys, so ready for my number 1? Number 1 is of course Pulp Fiction.
And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
Of course, Pulp Fiction. Why would I rank this lower? Now, I already did a review on that probably a week or 2 ago. I did that recently. I did a review on that recently, and I pretty much explained all of that on my review. So, you want to check out that review, the link's in the description, but all I have to say, classic movie. One of my favorite movies of all time, Pulp Fiction. It is a fucking classic. This is the first Tarantino movie I've watched, and I did not regret choosing this movie at all. Sorry, I don't mean to speak W's like a damn taller. Anyway, yeah, that's all I have to say. More details on my review. That's all. So yeah, Pulp Fiction comes in at number 1. Alright guys, so that is my very first ranking from a director's filmography. I know I may get some hate comments about, oh, you don't know the characters' names, blah, 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 but nah, that's okay. It's not really about the characters. It's really not. It's about the movie, how it's good. It doesn't, this is not a Quentin Tarantino character's rank. This is the movie's ranked. Get it through your head. But anyway, yeah. May not be my best video, but hey, I did explain a lot, though, on how I rank things. So, yeah, guys, so I kind of like doing director's filmography. I did have thoughts of doing this for maybe a year or 2, and now I'm officially doing it. And, in fact, I already done it just right now. So, here you go. So, yeah, guys, that's pretty much the video. So, if you enjoyed all this, subscribe for more content and all that bullshit. And I'm getting the fuck out of here. So, I'm out.